Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name's Janelle and I upload new videos Wednesday and Friday. And in today's video, I wanted to do a try to get ready with me while I do this makeup look. But in today's video, I'm going to be discussing things that you should know before moving out of state and just lessons and things I've learned along the way. It's officially been 1 year since I left my home state that I grew up my whole life in, of Florida, and I moved from there to Connecticut again a year ago. And so I figured that this could be insightful for any of you guys that are interested on moving. Or honestly, the tips and stuff I feel like are definitely useful for just like any big major life changes. I'm gonna be sharing with you guys things that have helped me along the way, and hopefully you can apply them to your life. Yeah, I'm really excited for this video, and I'm also super excited because Patryyciah Cosmetics is sponsoring a portion of today's video. And Patryyciah Cosmetics is a bomb Latina owned makeup company, so they sent me this really pretty golden highlight that I'm going to show you guys. Actually what I have on my cheeks and my eyelids. Like, you guys see how stunning that is? So we'll be playing with this highlight. Honestly, just love the packaging of all of these products. I love anything with gold detailing. And then also the lip combination that I'm wearing is from Patryyciah Cosmetics. And then this lip combo, I swear it's going to be my new favorite lip combo. Pigmentation and just how these products look are insane. So if you guys want to see these stunning products live and in action, definitely please keep watching. I will have a coupon code with them. I'll leave it on the screen, and you can save some money off of their products. Check them out, they are freaking amazing. I actually want to add some more highlight on my décolleté. Oh, I just love how that highlight left my skin looking. So yeah, if you guys want to see that, definitely please keep watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified every Wednesday and Friday when I upload. Also, don't forget to check me out on Instagram and TikTok. I'm so active on there when I'm not posting on here. Love you guys, and let's get into the video. Start off by just picking up some excess of my sunscreen because it always goes on a little bit too greasy. I normally don't like to put sunscreen on before I film, but yes, last night I did a retinol, and so I didn't want to risk damaging my skin any more than it already has been. Alright, so for primer today, I'll be using the Tula Skin Filter Primer. I've been loving this, especially since I've been getting so many dark spots and hyperpigmentation lately. This just helps even and smooth everything out. So you like the finish that it gives? So pretty. As you guys can see, I already did my brows because they are looking crazy. Also, disregard this bug bite. I've been getting attacked by these tiny little bugs every time I go outside. Put a little extra of that primer underneath of my eye just to help brighten and conceal a little more because I've been needing that so bad. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of my RCMA concealer palette and just take a little bit of these lighter shades and do a light sweep of that across my eyelid just to work as my eyeshadow primer. And make sure to really get this inner part and outer part that tends to get really dark. That way when I put shadow there, it'll show up true to color without those shadows and darkness distracting from the eyeshadow. I like literally just stab myself in the eye and just fade it off. And then while we're in that palette, I'll take one of these, just kind of mix like the light colors with a little bit of the darker color, and I'm gonna start just buffing this over my blemishes, just so that way once I do my foundation I don't go overboard. Then I'm taking my dermablend loose powder and I'm gonna do a light sweep of that across my eyelid. This will just set that concealer so I can blend my shadows out smoother, but this powder isn't too thick of a consistency to where it'll start making the eyeshadow look patchy or too dry. It's super fine, which is why I love it for this purpose. And I know some people are opposed to using concealer as eye primer or setting it with a powder, but in my opinion, it's all about the product that you use. I can't just use any concealer as eyeshadow primer, or it will start to bunch up and crease throughout the day. But if I use the right consistency of concealer and then like a really fine powder like this, I find that it still blends out the eyeshadow really nice without compromising anything. We have this little patio cover where we have our couch outside to protect it when it rains. And yesterday my dog kept smelling underneath of the patio cover all day, so finally I lifted it up to see if I could see what was under there, and I just saw something gray and furry, and I just bolted in the house because I was like, not today. If it's a skunk, I don't want to get sprayed. Like, not that skunks are even gray, but whatever. Then my husband just gets home and he tells me that he checked and it was a possum. Oh my gosh. For today's eyeshadow look, I'll be using the Huda Beauty Naughty palette. Such pretty colors. I want to do more of like a cool tone, kind of like mauve-y look. So that's why I wanted to whip out this palette. Start off with the shade Hypnotic. It's super light. It might not even show up on my skin tone, but I just want to create a very smooth transition. In this video, I wanted to discuss things that you should know before moving out of state. I officially reached my 1 year from moving from Florida to Connecticut. I'm just gonna start in the center, buff this up to the front of my brow and wing it out like I always do. And I feel like, yeah, I just think that this video would be helpful for anybody considering moving. So much to reflect on. Like, I still can't believe I actually did it. Anybody that knows me knows I'm like huge on family and tradition. And so I knew doing this wouldn't be easy, but thank God for seeing me through this and just like being there, as crazy as it gets. So my first piece of advice would be to be open and be okay with being uncomfortable. When you move, you have to just be open and okay with maybe you have to stay somewhere temporarily that you don't want to. Us, when we moved here, it was really hard because we went from like our super comfortable apartment with Alex and I to living with my parents for a few months. And then we got here and then we were like waiting to transition to move here. Then we had to live with Alex's grandma for a few months. Thank the Lord Jesus that like his family was so amazing, and like living with his family and even my family like was not bad at all. But if you are one of those people that are like just stubborn and set in your ways and you like your space, which I can definitely be that way. I definitely like my space and having something to my own. But yeah, if you go in with that mindset and you don't go in with like a grateful heart of being like, thank God we have this place to stay and just making the most out of it, then you are going to be miserable right off the bat. Biggest concern moving here was living with Alex's family. Like, I didn't know what to expect, and my biggest fear was like going into it and then there being strife or like something happened to where like things didn't go right and then it causing problems. But it couldn't have gone any better. Like I said, living with his grandma was so amazing. She was so kind, and like just I couldn't be more thankful for his family. But I do understand that that's not the case for everybody. That's not always an option for everybody. So my biggest thing is just being okay with being uncomfortable and then making the most out of the situation. And I know that that's so generic, but it's so true. You really have to have an open heart and an open mind for this change. And you also have to recognize that whatever you are going through, it's all going to be temporary. So it's not going to be like that permanently, but it's all about how you act in the interim between where you are now and where you want to go. So next up, I'm going to take the color Rough in the palette. It's a little bit darker, and I'm going to take that with a smaller blending brush and then focus it on like the outer part of my lid up into my crease. Kind of like how it was with the Israelites. If you're not familiar with the Bible, the Israelites were enslaved by Egypt. God finally delivered them out of Egypt, like literally miraculously. He parted the Red Seas for them to walk through. He did so many miracles, destroyed the Egyptian army, all of that. And the Israelites were enslaved. They were begging for God to deliver them out of Egypt to the promised land. He took them out of there, but in the interim, until they got to the destination that they wanted to go, it was not a great experience. They were in the desert, didn't have like the food and stuff that they were used to. And God provided. He did so much. He literally made it rain bread or manna. So he did miracles, but they were still complaining and just being so ungrateful. And a trip that I believe could have taken 40 days for them ended up taking 40 years. And sometimes God's like, you're not ready for the promise that I have for you, because look at how you're acting right now. Like, yes, things aren't perfect, but look how far I've brought you out of. Look at where the path that you're headed to, and you're too busy complaining. You're not ready for the blessing or the gift that I have for you. And that's my biggest piece of advice. It's like, always focus on your attitude in the interim when you don't really know what's going on. Have faith, keep pressing on, because you might be one step away from that blessing, and God's just trying to see, okay, are you able to handle this, or are you going to be complaining the whole time? Receive that blessing, you're not even going to be appreciative of it because you are just a complaining mess. And that's something I have to constantly remind myself of too. Like, I'm just kind of pressing that color up into my eyebrow. I desperately need to get my eyebrows done, so all those little specks of hair I kind of want to pluck out because they're driving me crazy. Next, I'm going to take a pencil brush in that same previous color and just focus that closer to my lash line. Then my next piece of advice would be to do a ton of research. Make sure you talk to people that live in the state that you're trying to relocate you. Make sure you have realistic expectations of the market, cost of living. Be aware of, if you're looking to buy a house, like what realistically you can expect for that price range, and be realistic of, you know, how long it could take to potentially buy a house. When we were looking for homes here, it was literally in the middle of the pandemic, and the market was crazy because so many people from New York were moving here that like literally you had to put offers in, like as soon as you viewed the house, you literally had to put an offer in or it's gonna be off the market. And I've heard it's only gotten worse since. So you just need to have realistic expectations of that, and also just trust and believe that like God's in control. So what is for you is going to be for a reason. There was plenty of houses that didn't work out or that we liked and then they were off the market, but I thank God because I feel like we couldn't have been more blessed with our house, and God knows everything. So just trust that he's in control, and also don't get stressed out with the process, but just be aware of the process and have the right expectations. Next up, I want to take the shade Please Me and put that all over, or like more toward the end of my eyelid. So my next word of advice ties into pretty much everything else, but it's just to be patient. The process, I feel like, between switching states, finding out about jobs, just like it's a whole process. It's not going to be a super smooth transition. Thankfully, God made it relatively smooth. It's not going to be a super smooth transition from moving out of your lease or whatever to moving to the new state to finding a home, all of that. It's a lot that goes into it, so just be patient. And again, like I mentioned earlier, just recognize that it's all temporary and that your situations won't be permanent. You will eventually be completely moved into your home. And if you're a family person like me and you had a ton of friends in the state that you grew up in or that you were living in, just remember that FaceTime is your best friend. Set up FaceTime dates every single week. Have like a designated day for each person that you want to FaceTime with. That way you guys can both make it super intentional. And I'm not even gonna lie, I feel like you end up having way better and like deeper relationships with people once you move out of state. As crazy as that seems, if they're like true friends and like good family members that are invested in your life, you will definitely have a better relationship if you just are super intentional with the times that you talk to them. Like I swear, I talk to my family way more now than I did when I was living in Florida. And that's just because I feel like when you're in the state that you're in, you take the time and the closeness and the proximity of them for granted, that you don't really keep in touch as much. When you're out of state, if you make that point to just FaceTime every week, you are connected, talking to them. Like the hardest thing for me is not being there for my nieces who are growing up, but FaceTiming definitely helps. And then another thing that helps is just like planning out when you are going to see them again. Always have that plan, whether it's like them coming here or you going there. If you know when you'll see them next, it'll definitely help you get through those times when you are just feeling so down about not physically being with your loved one. Then I want to take the Patryyciah highlighter in the shade Elbiana. So pretty. It's this really pretty, loose, really finely milled, soft, sparkly gold highlight. And I want that to twinkle in the front of my eye. So I'm just going to pour some in the cap. Now this is meant for the face, but I love using highlighters like this on the eyes, especially in this front part, and just like blow it out. And I'm going to pick that up with this small MAC brush. Any small brush like this could work. And my brush with some Fix Plus. Now I'm going to tap it in here. Like I want a good amount of it in there, super pigmented. And I also want to pick some up with like a fluffier brush. I really lightly miss this. And this I just kind of want to work more intense on the lid. And this will help diffuse it a little more. Then I'm going to take a little bit of the shade Juicy and another fluffy blending brush, and I'm just going to go back over my crease. Crap, I forgot to zoom you guys in. I'm so sorry. I'm just using this to intensify the crease so it doesn't get lost with all the shimmers. So I'm just focusing it here and then pushing it up and out. So tying into being patient, it's also important to recognize that it's going to be patient to build up friendships, to build up connections with people in the area that you are moving to. So just have that in mind, that you're not going to have a solid friend group right away. Like I'm definitely still in the process of building that. Thank the Lord Jesus above that Alex has great family members. Thank the Lord Jesus above that I get along with his sisters and that we're relatively close in age. So that definitely helped so much. If that's not the case, it's not always easy to just have that human connection of people to hang out with. Not to mention I'm married, so it's like I have a guaranteed friend home, but sometimes that also can make it hard, because especially if you are married or in a relationship, sometimes you almost feel like you also don't want to feel like you're relying so much on that person. Still feel like you are your own being with your own friend group and things like that. And I feel like that was the hardest part for me. When I was living in Tampa, I had established like such a great friend group, and it's hard to have that as an adult. I would always have like dinner dates every other weekends with my friends, and it was just like I felt like it was balanced. I just had like a really good friend group to where like if I wanted to try a new restaurant, I could hit them up and go with them. And I felt like, yes, I had my time with Alex, but I still had my close friends that I could just rely on, hang out with whenever. Like, it was really nice to have. And so it was crazy going from that to literally Friday nights. Just my only form of entertainment was walking around Target. I will say, if you find something that you like to do on your own, until you find that friend group, you know, people to socialize with here and there, find things that you like to do with yourself. I definitely think it's so important to have time alone and to not always be distracted by people. Sometimes it takes moving and like forcing yourself to be in that situation to do that, because I feel like you don't always rush to have that alone time. Some of us do, some of us don't. I'm kind of like right in the middle, but this forced me to have a ton of alone time, which was good and bad. It definitely allowed me to do a lot of self-reflecting. There was times where I felt super lonely, and that is 100% okay. Validate your feelings of feeling like lonely, but then also recognize that this is temporary and that eventually God will place the right people in your life. And also another thing that was huge for me was to let go of that fear of rejection. So the only way you will make friends or be able to do things is if you reach out to people or you go out of your ways to make connections with people and interact with people. Dealt with the spirit of rejection for a long time and just always feeling like people don't really care to like hang out with me, or people don't really care to make friends, or like I always felt like I was bothering people even if it wasn't the case. I truly feel like it was the devil's way of just like keeping me in a box. So just making sure to let that go will definitely help you out a ton. Now I'm just taking my Huda Beauty loose powder in this little small flat top brush, and I'm just gonna stamp that underneath of my brow, just like toward the end here. I'm almost like gonna bake with it just to highlight and smooth out that area. Yeah, if you're gonna move to a different place, you gotta let go of that fear and that spirit of rejection. Pray that God will deliver you from that, and just really like how this look is coming out so far. I'm gonna pick up a card though, and I do want to intensify the outer corner a little bit. I'm gonna pick up the shade Juicy again. Take out a straight edge and just intensify this outer portion. I think I want to use my Nars foundation in the shade Stromboli. I hope that this matches me. Should match my body. My face is so pale right now, I don't know why. But yeah, that's another thing I was gonna say with that like fear of rejection and feeling like people don't really care to hang out with you or see you. The problem with that is it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So like if you think that, you're gonna act like that, which then I feel like in turn makes it seem like you don't care to be around people or have those interactions, just because in your head you think that when you're talking or doing whatever, you're bothering people. So you're just like projecting that out there, and then they probably just get the idea that you don't want to be around them. So I feel like that in turn will make that the case. So just let that go, so that way you can literally make genuine connections with new people. Ew, my hair is getting all cut up in here. Okay, so I'm laying that in the center, and then I'm just gonna push that in with my favorite beauty sponge from Amazon. And I'm just really gonna like beat up my face with this sponge to really push it in. Ooh, this is actually a little bit light. Well, I feel like it looks a lot lighter on camera. I think it should work though once I do like the contour and all of that. And the most important thing for me personally that truly, literally, I'm telling you, was my saving grace is prayer. Like, I know if you're not a believer, this could be irrelevant to you, but it could be relevant. You could try it and then go from there. I kid you not, if it wasn't for like just like praying, I wouldn't have been able to get it through. Like I knew how I was personally and how I get, like I said, when it comes to family and, you know, traditions and things like that and missing out on certain things. Like, I know how I am, and I know that typically without the grace of God, I would not have been able to last more than a few months away from my family in a different place. But I kid you not, it is the power of prayer that literally got me through times when I felt so lonely, when I felt like I didn't have any friends. Like, literally just praying that God would give me peace and tranquility in those times has it truly just helped me so much. Like, don't underestimate the power of God. Pray and ask for strength, pray and ask for peace, right? And ask for help for getting through certain situations. Sometimes he just wants you to ask for the simplest things so he can help you with that. But I feel like so many times we try to rely on our own strength, on our own abilities. Sometimes God can give you just miraculous abilities to get through things. And I truly feel like that was the case. And that was also the case with like finding our home, how smooth and quickly we found things. Like, I knew that this transition would have been so much harder if I had not found a place of my own soon. Like, if I just felt like I was going between from living with my parents' house, living with Alex's grandma. And although I appreciated that so much, don't get me wrong, they made it so comfortable. I'm not taking away from that, but I just knew that for me to be able to get through this long term and not feel, you know, sad right away of leaving my hometown that I grew up in, I knew if I had a home, it would make it so much better. So I knew that, and I prayed to God, like, God, please, please, please help for us to find a home sooner than later. That way we can be at peace, and I can be at peace, and I won't, you know, feel as sad, because I'll feel like, no, at least I have a place of my own here. And I kid you not, within a month of moving here, God blessed us tremendously. And like I said, the market was crazy, so that was honestly a miracle in itself. So I'm telling you guys, do not underestimate the power of prayer. I've seen it work crazy. Prayer is so powerful. It's crazy how power of prayer can impact people around you and yourself. So definitely do not underestimate that. And another thing I would say, it's just like, if you're preparing to move, definitely start to get more comfortable spending time by yourself. Us, thankfully, like, COVID happened. I mean, not thankfully, it was awful, but because COVID happened, I was forced to, you know, not be around my friends all the time. It forced me to just like get super comfortable with my alone time. And honestly, I love my alone time too. So because I got so comfortable with not being with my friends every other weekend and stuff like I used to, it definitely made the process so much smoother once I moved, because it wasn't like I went from doing that straight to moving and being almost in isolation. It helped prepared. So definitely I would recommend that, just getting used to hang out with yourself sometimes, just contouring using my Maybeline Fit Me Stick. Been 1 year later, and I feel like slowly but surely I'm starting to meet more people and kind of be more established here, which is amazing. And I feel like if I hadn't seen it through for the year, and if I would have let my feelings get in the way 6 months in when I was starting to feel sad and, you know, feeling alone, then I wouldn't have been able to see it through and see, you know, how God really pulled through and put people in my life and things like that. Definitely just be patient, pray, see it through. And I feel like after a year, it slowly becomes better. Cleaning up underneath the cream contour with some concealer. And then another piece of advice I would give is that grass isn't always greener. So that you're in, I'm sure you're gonna find everything wrong with it, and then once you move, you're gonna see all the great that's in it, and you're going to miss it a ton. It'll happen. But then at the same time, that works in reverse. Like, going back doesn't always mean that it's gonna be so great. You're gonna come back into the same faults that you had with it before. And so every place that you live will definitely have its pros and cons. So make the most out of the pros instead of just focusing on the cons. And I feel like that will just keep you at peace no matter where you are or where you plan on living. I'm gonna take my Nars liquid blush. I would recommend choosing like maybe a weekend out of the month or something, depending on what your schedule is like, to just like explore, try new places, and explore the place that you're living like a tourist. And I feel like that could work no matter where, if you're staying in your same state, just so that way you can appreciate it and make the most of it. And then also if you are moving to another one, that way you can, you know, continue to see the beauty in it, and it'll make you enjoy where you're living a ton more. I'm now gonna set my whole face using my dermablend powder and a powder puff. I'm then going to set my under eyes using the Huda Beauty loose baking powder, and I'm gonna pick that up with this small powder puff. I got these on Amazon. I love them. They come in a pack of 15 for like $6 or $7. I really recommend checking them out. For bronzer, I'll be using my Makeup by Mario bronzer in the shade medium, and I'm just picking that up with this Morphe angled brush. All right, and then I'm gonna be setting my face using my MAC Fix Plus Radiance Setting Spray. I'm gonna apply my MAC Mineralized Blush in the shade Dainty. Then I'm going to take that same loose Patryyciah Cosmetics highlighter in the shade Elbiana. It is such a stunning color. I will have a discount code with them, so I will leave it on the screen. I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet, but I'll leave it on the screen and you can get, I think, either 15 or 20% off. So basically, I'm just going to take whatever is left in the cap. The Patryyciah Cosmetics, this is like their fluff highlighter brush. I love how long the hairs are, so it'll diffuse it really nice without packing it on too much. But it is still like small enough to where you will still get that pop of shine. Taking the shade Juicy again, I'm going to take that with a shader brush on my lower lash line. I'm just going to reinforce some of the color in here. Alright, I'm going to be doing lashes and all of that off camera. But for now, I'm going to do my lip color. And for the lipstick, I'm going to be using the Patryyciah Cosmetics Lip Pencil in the shade Opal. It is such a beautiful, like natural, warm nude color. This is the type of lip pencil that would look good with literally like any lip color, or even by itself, just like if you color in your whole lip. And then I'm going to top that off with this beautiful gloss. This is the Patryyciah Cosmetics Lip Gloss in the shade Mercury. We just talk about how stunning this packaging is. This color is like right up my alley. I love a natural pinky nude. It's really pretty, very sheer, hint of that pink. So you can use this on its own or on top of a lip color. What I want to do is color in my whole lip with the lip pencil and then just top it off with the gloss. How pretty of a color that is. So then let's top it off with the gloss. Ooh, and it's not sticky at all either, which is really nice. I think I'm going to do my black glue liner and then I'm going to apply my Amazon lashes on top. I'll do this off camera, but basically this is a liner that works as a lash glue. So you just do your liner and then you pop your lash on top and you're good. A part of moving is rolling with the punches and pivoting when you have to, and that's what I have to do with my eyeshadow because I use that black liner. Sometimes I like it though, sometimes I hate it because if the inner corner doesn't stick right, it's just a whole mess and the line keeps getting thicker and then my lash just looked all wonky. So to fix this liner, I don't want it so harsh. So I'm going to smoke it out with the shade Untamed and Provocative. I'm just going to go right over top. I'm also going to take a little bit more of that loose Patryyciah Cosmetics highlight and put that right underneath inside of here, just to add a little twinkle. And I'll put a little bit extra down the bridge of my nose. Alright you guys, and here you have it. This is the completed makeup look. I honestly love how it came out beside the whole liner situation, but we managed. I still think the overall look looks really pretty and would be perfect for any occasion. And yeah, I hope that you guys found this video helpful and that you enjoyed just hanging out with me talking about, you know, some life lessons that I've learned along the way. If you guys want to see more content like this, or you want me to do like a get ready with me discussing anything more specific, let me know some topics down below. I would love to do that. I feel like it's so nice to just like chat, have my notes, and just like have stuff to refer to on things that could be relatable or helpful for you guys. So let me know in the comments down below. I love you all so much. I pray that you all stay safe and have a blessed day and week. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram and TikTok and hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And last but not least, thank you so much Patryyciah Cosmetics for sponsoring a portion of today's video. Don't forget to check out Patryyciah Cosmetics products. This highlight is bomb and this lip combo is just everything. If you want some bomb Latina owned makeup, check out the link below and also use my code. I'll leave it on the screen and you can get money off of their bomb products. Love you guys. Bye.